Aloha and Tashi Delay from Kauai Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center here on the island of Kauai. We present this class every Thursday night from 6 to 8 Hawaiian time. And for those that live in faraway places that are watching this class, we record it on our website, kauaidharma.org. And I was asked today if I could make some comment or some condensation, we call it the fifth instruction, of the mind training of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, which is not a religion. And the reason that this question came up was because we have students that are practicing other spiritual traditions and religious traditions, along with these Bodhisattva mind training teachings. And so, first of all, this isn't a religion. This is a healing program. And it's designed for the last 26 years to heal body, speech, and mind, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that should sum it up. But I'm going to read from Vivid Awareness. Now, this term, vivid awareness, humans, ordinary humans, have awareness, but they have what we call dullness or drama awareness. They're aware of themselves, and the drama of themselves is preoccupied with emotionally with the self and everything and everybody else. And that's why Tibetan Buddhist teachings are simply mind training practices to bring one good health if they do the practices. And so this is from page 217, because a lot of you have this book, Vivid Awareness. And it goes like this. The body is the servant for all good and negative deeds. The mind rules everything like a king. So that's one way to sum it up. The mind is like the king because the body and speech are like the servants, because the mind does not think of something. Whatever the mind thinks of, the body cannot possibly do anything, either good or bad, without that. Nor can the speech policy say anything kind or mean without the mind. Thus, we must recognize that the root comes down to the mind. Next, we must analyze whether the mind is something or nothing. It is unilaterally something because it has no color. White, yellow, red, green, black, and it has no shape, no triangle, square, or any of that to be seen. But it is not unilaterally nothing, because this all-knowing, all-aware king that does all your thinking and remembering is unceasing, timeless. Thus, the Lama Ranger Georgi Karmapa said, and this sums it up: the mind is not something. Even the victors called Buddhists cannot see it. Since it is not nothing, it is the ground for all of samsara and nirvana. And that's why when we do these practices, we refer to the ground, to the all ground. But the all ground is simply space. And space to the ordinary person is nothing, it's just space. But to the awareness mind, it's energy. And it's very, very useful energy And when we do these practices, for instance, tonight we're going to start with the 3 lights and let that take us into the 5 elements healing. The space is the format. But most people don't know how to meditate. They don't know how to focus. They don't know how to use their imagination. So just that 3 lights meditation, together with the 5 elements, shows people how to use the mind in these practices to get good results with focus, which is in a state of awareness, and the imagination, which is an aspect of your mind. Enough said. That was the last chapter of this book, the summing up chapter. And anybody that really wants to know their true nature and how to connect to it, this is Lama Gongcha Rinpoche's method, and it's called the method of the Kusulu. The relaxed individual with relaxed awareness of vivid intelligence. Dagdang Jowa Namke Tadang Yampe Samjam Tamche Dudine Junte Jisi Jangchu Ningpo Dachi Kibardu. And what we just chanted in Sanskrit, in order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and live in the sentient beings, our mothers, we now all together take refuge and offer prostrations and other skillful practices. And these prostrations and other skillful practices, you must know when you take refuge, you and everything you are doing is for everybody else. And you'll come to know that when you are doing these practices, everybody else is doing the same thing you are. It'll come to that. But no hurry. Then we take refuge in the 3 jewels and the 3 roots. Now, all Buddhists take refuge in the 3 jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. But in Tibetan Buddhism, we also take refuge in the mind of the Lama as the peaceful and protector deities that we use in practice, and the practice is called the Path of Skillful Means of Bodhisattva Training School. Palden Lama Dampa Namla Chapsu Chio Yedam Chokor Gilatso Namla Chapsu Chio Sanjay Chong Dende Namla Chapsu Chio Dampe Chur Namla Chapsu Chio Pape Gendu Namla Chapsu Chio Pawo Gandro Shokyung Sume Shoyiseki Shendang Dempa Namla Chapsu Chio. And in English, we go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, or the deities gathered at our mandala practice. We go for refuge to all Buddhas, those who have conquered their mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all this supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. And we go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis who are the protectors and defenders of Dharma. All of these possess the eye of transcending awareness. Then we enter with these 6 refuges and the altruistic motivation to bring all beings to know their true nature with the 6 Bodhisattva perfections or disciplines. Sanjay Chodam Choki Chodam La Chen Chu Pardu Dagni Japsu Chi Yagi Jenzo Jipe Sonam Ki Drola Penjer Sanjay Trupar Sho. Through the Buddha, Dharma, and this Supreme Assembly, which refers to the 6 sources of refuge, we go for refuge until enlightenment, or till we know our own true nature and how to use it. May I, through the virtue and merit gathered from practicing the 6 Bodhisattva disciplines, which are called the 6 perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Not one left out. Now, those prayers are so powerful that the refuge prayer is used with the foundation of practice of prostrations. And it's the first extraordinary practice. And its results are, for the person doing that, their mind changes to the connection that all beings are removed from suffering and the cause of suffering, that all beings have happiness and the cause of that happiness. And because of these practices, all beings are established in bliss, the mind of bliss, beyond the nirvana. And therefore, all beings remove their emotionally conflicting thoughts simply by removing judgment from the mind. What is judgment? Well, it's a habit. And we all have it. We've already prejudged what is good and what is bad. And we take that habit, and as thoughts arise and experiences arise, we spontaneously, like breathing, judge them good or bad. And then, to complicate matters, we have an idea that some beings are more superior than others. And to make matters worse, we even have the idea that some beings are inferior compared to others than others. And this judgment is based on not knowing your true nature and how to use it. So along come the lamas, the Dalai Lama, for instance, myself and other lamas, and point these things out. But the actual way to get this is for the individual to do the practice with the guidance of the Lama Guru and validate it in their own situation, in their own state of consciousness. So now we're going to do that. To start the practices, we use the 5th Bodhisattva Discipline. So we have the first, generosity; the second, morality, ethics, and good manners; the third, diligence in practice and developing awareness; the fourth is diligence itself; and the 5th one is patience with the practice meditation. Take the time to do the practice. So sit with your back straight. Oh, and the 6th one is deliberately discovering the true nature of your consciousness. Because the mind has 2 natures. You have the drama mind nature, which is full of pain and suffering, which everybody has. And in that same state of consciousness is another state of awareness which has no preoccupation with that. None. And when you connect to that, you're liberated. I use the word Buddha, it's a made-up name. It simply means you become a mature human being. And only human beings can do this. Back straight, head slightly tilted, hands comfortable on the knees or in the lap. Eyes open, soften your gaze to the space and light 2 feet in front. Mouth closed if you can, breathe through the nose, otherwise slightly open your mouth. And bring your awareness to your breath. This spontaneous activity of breathing is what keeps you alive. That's how powerful it is. And of course, the element that keeps you in the body is the air. Okay, so tonight we're going to use the symbol of the air element, a half sphere of green light. But the air is a lot more than that symbolically. It's something that's always moving. It's acting. Yes, we have earth. Yes, we have water. Yes, we have fire. Yes, we have space. But this is the most active. So when you use the element with the code, this goes back 5,000 years to the introduction in the Chinese tradition of the Tao by Kuan Yin. And it's suitable for survival of the species called humans. And all the tribes of the planet have been surviving using these 5 elements and connecting to them in powerful ways up until the recent introduction of what we call the industrial age. So we're going to revive this whole elemental connection with the 3 lights breathing and the 5 elements. So when you breathe, you should notice that the air goes down into your middle part of your body. And the diaphragm spontaneously expands with the inhale and contracts with the exhale. And to put your consciousness just on that is very, very powerful. It changes your mental agitated mind, and it brings more energy into the body. The consciousness does that. The body's going to do it whether you're conscious or not, like in your sleep. Then, Bodhisattva training starts with just that, by imagining, using this, to imagine that that air coming in is white light filling your lungs, just your lungs. Then the absorption breath, which is the middle breath, spontaneously takes the energy of the elements in the air, which there are all 5, and passes it through every cell in your body. It does that. But you want to be conscious of that. So inhale white light, and absorption breath, you visualize red light going through your whole body. Then you take these 2 codes, the white and the red, and exhale the powerful healing blue light out your nose to space. Think that it goes everywhere, which it does. If you think that. Again, inhale white light, fill your lungs. The absorption breath is visualized as red light through the cells of your body. Bring these 2 lights together and exhale blue light out the nose to space, which makes it available to everyone. You're connecting. Not only to the inner process, but to the world around you, consciously, with the breath. And you practice like that inhale white, the absorption breath, red light through the body, and the blue light, by simply counting 21 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1. Now continue the count to yourself until you reach 21. When you reach the 21st count, take your focus off the breathing, off the breath. gather the three lights into a tiny particle of light and visualize it to be centered in your chest in the central channel of your life force, right in the middle of this area of your body. The moment you do that, you're connecting to the infinite light of boundless space. So relax for a few moments and enjoy space. And to increase your absorption of this energy, be present. Not 1 second in the past or 1 second to the future. Be present in space. This is called the all ground. Of all of samsara and nirvana originates here in the mind of human beings. Then move from this dimension of spatial awareness by again inventing the tiny particle of light and increase it in size until it creates a small sphere of white light about smaller than the size of your thumbnail. In this way, you enter into the third dimensional aspect of our phenomenal world. Then with your imagination and focus on that small sphere of clear light, see it increase in size until it creates the healing symbol of a half sphere of green light, like has a lid, has a cover, about the size of your thumbnail. And label that air. In reality, it's a form of gas. And we'll use this symbol for creating with our own mind the healing energy necessary to help to sustain our human body. Which is like a husk holding the consciousness called the mind. When you can see this green sphere in your heart chakra, half sphere, then to start the practice, move it out in front of your chest and up before your eyes to the space and light 2 feet in front. Then with imagination and focus together, working together, which is how we do all these practices, visualize it to grow in size about the size of a small room, and see your body just as you are, standing, laying down, or sitting, inside this green half sphere of light. Then continue the practice by imagining this half sphere of green light to grow in size to encompass an area about 50 miles in diameter of where you're sitting. Here we imagine the island of Hawaii and surrounding ocean inside this half sphere of labeled air. Then visualize this symbol to grow in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her air atmosphere. Then visualize it to grow in size to completely enclose our solar system, which is actually billions of miles in every direction inside. Then include the half sphere to completely encompass our spiral disc-shaped galaxy. And move beyond the boundaries of your conceptual abilities and merge it with the infinite light of boundless space and relax in the present moment, contemplating space. No meditation. To increase the effect, be present. Apply the energy of this dimension of spatial awareness in the present moment to whatever thoughts arise or bodily sensations. Experience. Then move from this very comfortable dimension of space and again invent the half sphere of green light enclosing the galaxy. Condense it to just enclosing the solar system. Then smaller and smaller to just enclosing Mother Earth. Then just enclosing a large area of where you're doing this practice. City, town, island, inside. And condense all that life-giving energy to just a visualization of your body sitting inside this half-sphere labeled air. Then start to finish the practice by imagining it to move in front of your eyes. To its original small size. Drop it to chest level and into your heart center. Shrink it all at once or slowly and deliberately till it becomes a tiny particle of light, which merges with the boundless light of space. Relax and be present in space. No meditation. This Bodhisattva mind training practice can be applied to any age of human. Grade school, high school, college, etc. And you will find, as we have, if you do this practice regularly, good results. If not, there are other practices. Bring your awareness to in front of your eyes that you are developing with this practice. And you use this more vivid state of good health called awareness in your relationships with others and with your environment, Mother Earth, the world around you. In Tibetan Buddhism, this falls into the vehicle of Hinayana. Hinayana means practiced for oneself. But in the Tibetan tradition, we have what is called the Mahayana, which means everything we do is for everyone else and our environment. And it falls into two categories: the Sutra, which is what we're going to do tonight with 3 practices, and the Tantra, which is understanding that we are in an illusionary situation. This word illusion means everything is simply a light show. Very similar to what our computers, television, cell phones, and so forth show us. And the mind that invented those is actually like that. And every thought or idea that you have originates from space for whatever reason, does something and returns to space. And the same with all of your activities. They arise, they do something, and then it's done. And so everything that you think, say, or do is non-existent, because the moment you think it, say, or do it, it's already time-wise in the past. Doesn't exist. This same analogy applies to the future. It hasn't happened yet. It doesn't exist. But your mind goes there and makes up all kinds of stories about what's going to happen in the future. Today, tomorrow, next week, next year, next life. Illusory. So, in the Tibetan tradition, started by Shakyamuni Buddha 2,600 years ago, and merged with some other similar traditions, then moved into Tibet and refined for about 1,500 years. We have the mind training path to understand our true nature and how to use it, of using illusory deities. And these illusory deities are the mind of the Lama in 3 categories: the loving kindness and compassion of the heart mind as the most important factor. And we use the deity Chenrezig to apply that to the body and everything we do in our present lifestyle situation. Then we have the mind of insight into the true nature, which doesn't think. It doesn't judge. And therefore, there's no karma. There's no activity. There's no perceiver or perceived. And to understand that and how to use it, then we introduce for the mind Manjushri. And so these 2 deities, male in form, also connect to the elemental nature of the world around us, as the blazing light of the whole universe as the female energy program, the great expanse. And when you do that, it becomes what is called the Dharmakaya. And it changes the whole idea of what the universe is to ordinary people to what it is to gain higher states of good health and intelligence available to people that do or follow this path of skillful means. And it comes out in such a powerful way that we have a third application of an illusory deity as a wild, dancing, on fire, male aspect called Vajrapani. Now these three are the body, speech, and mind of all the lamas. And so we're using these tonight with their mantra and their visualization of the seed soul, the creation sound, and their vibration, their energy, to move things along a little faster than you would with the Hinayana approach of just the self doing it for the self. And we eliminate the idea of the soul or a place to go or even any kind of heavenly rebirth in the process. It doesn't compute, but you can feel it. You can experience it because the mind is all pervasive. You know, it's not restricted by the drama world, so it's liberated into higher states of intelligence. Loving kindness is a higher state of intelligent awareness. And it's absolutely necessary in the birthing of humans, specifically in relationship of an only child to the mother. It's called unconditional love. It's called concern for the well-being of another. In this case, all others. So these three, Chenrezig, is the foundation practice of all the path of skillful means. Manjushri is the guidance of the Lama, a specific method to quickly absorb that into your present state of consciousness and know how to use it. And then because you're doing that, then Vajrapani comes up with power to make it effective in your relationships in the world around you. And personally, after 45 years of practice, I can tell you, it works. I mean, I don't mind being stuck out here in a hick town on a weird little island in the middle of the Pacific. I don't mind at all. For two reasons. One, it's nice, very nice. And the other, it's a good place to develop into a state of some kind of human maturity. which is what my mother wanted for me. So the Chenrezig practice, the Lamas helped us to put it in this sutra book form from the original text, which is in the book. So it's not dogmatic. It's been around for 2,600 years. And the Dalai Lama is a perfect living example of Chenrezig, this deity, as are my teachers here in Hawaii and other places. And my root Lama, Kala Rinpoche, said, when you introduce this path of skillful means, the sutra and tantric practices, let them know that I, Kala Rinpoche, recommend it as the starting practice and an introduction to the path of skillful means, and that it represents actually 1,000 deities and connects to 1,000 different forms of the energy program of the world around it as the female energy. Well, that's a lot. But we have a lot of universe. We have a lot of stuff. And we have a lot of responsibility for ourselves and what's this stuff and what's going on. So we did the refuge prayer. And we introduced the 6 perfections of the Bodhisattva, generosity and so forth. Now we activate those. And we do that by making this prayer in connection with this deity that we're going to use in this practice tonight called Avalokiteshvara in India and Chenrezig in Tibet. Same deity. Bodhisattva, Chenrezig, whose white body is not clothed by faults, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha of light, Amitabha, who looks upon all beings with the eyes of compassion and loving kindness. To this Chenrezig, I pay homage. Then we enter the 7 branches of spiritual practice. The first one is taking refuge, which we did. To this sublime one, the Chenrezig, to all the Buddhas, their sons and daughters, who reside in the 10 directions and 3 times, past, present, and future, with complete sincerity, I pay homage. I take refuge. I offer water, flowers, incense, butter lamps, perfume, food, music, and an infinite number of other real and imaginary offerings to the sources of refuge, and beseech this noble assembly to accept it. I confess all unskillful actions caused by the power of the unstable, conflicting emotions and judgmental mind. Also, the 10 unvirtuous deeds and the 5 sins of limitless consequence done from beginningless time until now. I rejoice in the spiritual merit of whatever virtues, self-realizing sravakas and praktikas, and mature Buddha Bodhisattvas and ordinary beings gathered throughout the 3 times. I pray the Dharma wheel of the Mahayana, Hinayana, and the teachings on voidness common to both be turned in accordance with the wishes and aptitudes of human beings. I beseech the Buddhas not to pass into nirvanic states as long as this pain and suffering of samsara is not purified. But look with compassion upon us sentient beings who wallow in this ocean of pain and suffering. And finally, whatever merit I accumulate through this be the cause for the enlightenment of beings. And may I quickly become a good example teacher and a leader of sentient beings. Then the indestructible words of power that were used to activate the mantra. I pray to you as the Lama Chenrezig. I pray to you as this Yidam Chenrezig. I pray to you perfect wisdom, Chenrezig. I pray to you the Bodhisattva of unconditional love, Chenrezig. Great compassionate victor, please hold us with your compassion, us numberless sentient beings who wander in endless samsara. For them, there is no other refuge than you, protector. So please bestow the blessing to attain omniscient Buddhahood. And then it lists the 6 sources of karma that we are rotating through from the human condition. And the human condition has caused us to take birth out of desire or neediness. And this causes an excessive activity and constant frustration. So may we be free of this Om Mani Padme Hum. And then when we leave this realm, the emotional program kicks in the bardo of becoming. Through the force of anger, we move into the hell realm, which experiences extreme suffering of heat and cold and torture and so forth. May all these hell realm beings be born as the perfect deity, Om Mani Padme Hum. Then we have the karma of greed, and all the beings that have that have developed an abusive nature and take birth in the realm of the pretas. Suffering extreme hunger and thirst, they become what is called deprived spirit. May they be born in your presence, protector, Om Mani Padme Hum. By the power of accumulating karma from the beginning of this time, sentient beings through the force of ignorance and stupidity are born as animals. And because of this delusive nature, experience the suffering of dullness and ignorance. May they all be born in your presence, protector, Om Mani Padme Hum. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginning this time, sentient beings through the misuse of power and the force of jealousy are born in the realm of the war gods, called demigods and goddesses, and experience the suffering of fighting and quarreling. May they all be born in your realm, the Potala. Om Mani Padme Hum. And finally, by the power of accumulating negative karma through the beginning of this time, sentient beings with the force of pride, and the practice of religions are born in the realms of gods and goddesses and experience the suffering of impermanence. And through change and falling into lower realms, May they all be born in your realm, the Potala, Chenrezig. Om Mani Padme Hum. Karma is king on this planet. Wherever I'm born, may deeds by equaling Chenrezig liberate beings from these impure realms and spread the perfect sound of the six-syllable mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, in the 10 directions. Through the power of this prayer to you, we who are to learn disciplining the mind pay the greatest attention to action and result, karma, and diligently practice virtue and good deeds, and adopt the wisdom of the Dharma for the benefit of all these beings. Now we meditate. Vibration, your voice. To increase the healing vibration of your voice, the Buddha designed a code of 6 syllables using the Sanskrit language. And since it was in a country of extreme Hindu practitioners, the first syllable is Om. And starting with that syllable, Mani Padme Hum, or Om Mani Padme Hum in Tibet, this vibration of this sound through the human voice is to take the karma, which I just read to you, of us constantly cycling through these drama realms, 6 in number, and not do that anymore. In fact, never again. That's the free. Because the universe has no beginning, no middle, and no end, and is simply made of light, everything, throughout space. And so those 2 energies are the ultimate vibration of your body. And by being this deity Chenrezig, which looks like this forearm, with the one up on the tanka on the wall, is an illusory body, but it has symbolic ornaments and dress, and it's a 5-jewel crown, which introduces 5 energy fields that we move in practice. The first one that the Chenrezig enters us into is infinite light, but not as a supreme divine entity. It's just the nature of nature. It's the nature of your mind, your body, everything. So we're going to sound this mantra. And while we do that, I'm going to read the visualization that in your heart center, you put the seed syllable tree. Right. Tree. Looks like this. It's red tree on a white background and a blue energy field of space. Is simply the infinite light of the Lama's mind as a mature human being called the Buddha Amitabha. And it's one of 5 energy fields, but in this practice, that's it. So whether you're sleeping in worldly activities in the waking stage, dreaming, leaving the body, or moving into the next life, that's the program. And this Salvohuri is the symbol of that. And it is visualized in your heart center on a white 8-petal lotus. And this lotus, on it is a sun and moon disk, which is the light of the energy that taking care of us in this world we live in. But it symbolizes taking birth as a bodhisattva, not as a needy human being, not out of desire. I immediately appear as the noble all-seeing one Chenrezig, white in color, radiating 5 colored light rays, smiling and gazing with eyes of compassion. He has 4 arms. The lower 2 are joined together like this, and the upper right hand holds a lotus, and the upper left hand a crystal mala, a counting mantra. This symbolizes the Sutra tradition, and this symbolizes the Tantra tradition. A deer skin covers his left shoulder, symbolizing his peaceful nature. The Buddha of boundless light, as the Lama Amitabha, adorns his head, and he sits in the Vajrasana with his back supported by an empty mirror or a moon. He is the essence of all sources of refuge. And through this prayer, light radiates from the body of Chenrezig in all directions. And when we sound the mantra, purifies negative karma, impure appearance, and the deluded minds of ordinary beings. The outer realm is the pure land of Dewa Chen, which means a mind of bliss. It is the mandala of sublime speech and the pure mind of Chenrezig. This is the indivisible union of appearance, sound, and vivid intelligence or awareness with space or voidness. Now we do the mantra practice. So here you are, the white Chenrezig, sitting on a lotus sun and moon disk with the 5 Dhyana Buddha crown on your head, and rays of white lace, 5-colored light blazing through your body from the free and from the mantra which you're going to sound, visualizing your mother and all mother beings as the deity, filling space, all the animals, all the humans, and all the spirits in the entire universe as this deity. Each one, Chenrezig. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. When you visualize all beings as Chenrezig, this mantra, 6 syllables, starts to circle the three inside a 5-colored sphere of light in the center of your heart center. And when you sound this mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, or in India, Om Mani Padme Hum, either way is appropriate. It's because you applied this rainbow bliss body to everyone in the whole universe. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Mani Padme Hum. Om 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 Mani Padme Hum. 3. The mala counts 108. But if you're keeping track for the count of 100,000 of these mantras, being Chenrezig, and applying this practice to all mother sentient beings, you keep 100, you count 100. The last 5 are the 5 dhyana Buddhas, and the last 3 are your body, speech, and mind doing the practice. So 100 is what you keep track of with your mala for 100,000 recitations of this mantra. And all of this is the creation stage of this practice. Creating the seed level as this vibration of infinite light, which is the nature of everything. 3. Creating the deity, which is illusory, like everything, as a symbol of your bliss, aptitude, your blissful nature. Beyond the states of nirvana. And completely free of all physical, mental, and emotional pain and suffering. And to move into the second stage of the practice, which is acquiring higher intelligence, vivid awareness, to replace the dull awareness of the emotionally preoccupied, selfish, individual soul or self. You can dissolve the whole mandala of sentient beings all at once into you as the central deity. Chenrezig. Then disappear the deity into the 6 syllable vibrations of the mantra in your heart center. Then starting with the sound Om, Ma, Ni, Pe, Mi, Hum, dissolve those 6 syllables one by one into the Shri. The Shri, the vibration of infinite lights, surrounded by a 5-color sphere. You can contract it to a tiny point of light the way we did the 5 elements and rest in the present moment, or you can expand it to the totality of space as the nature of everything and rest in that state. And there are many names for acquiring this accomplishment stage of the practice. Maha Mudra is the Kagyu lineage name. Dzogchen is the Nyingmapa lineage. Perfect clarity is the Sakya. The middle place as Madhyamika, the 4th lineage, the Geglupa. No matter how you think about this or label it, it's nothing, it's voidness, it's space. It's very, very comfortable. Just as you are, it's the nature of your mind. It's the essence of your mind, inseparable from this. It's innate, it's already there. Nothing to acquire, nothing to take away. It's clear of judgment. And it's open to the nature of everything and everyone, the Dharmakaya, the great expanse. No center, no boundary. Relax. And the practice is to simply be present. Smiling, comfortable. When you can't handle any more of this blissful state of relaxed awareness, which is actually timeless, then you reinvent the deity, Chenrezig, and apply that to all beings between this and your next session of whatever practices you're doing. All sound becomes a vibration of the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. And tonight we're going to move directly into the manifestation from Chenrezig to Manjushri, so that you have this code, this system, which is Chenrezig working with the accumulation stage of the practice. So you know, experience what it is and how to use it. So now you simply create the sound D, Sanskrit for light. But more than that, for higher intelligence, awareness. And you put the D in your heart center, then you send light out to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They acknowledge that and enter into your heart center to the sound D, and you immediately become Manjushri, with the sword raised in the sky of your mind, cutting through the ignorance of belief in a self or a soul existing, and some place to go with that. In the left hand, the thumb and ring finger holding the stem of a lotus blooming by your left ear, which symbolizes taking birth in the human realm, with the Heart Sutra on it, the Mother of Perfect Wisdom, as your mentor, ultimate guru. You're dressed in silks and jewels pretty much the same way as Chenrezig, but your legs are in full lotus, very disciplined. You're sitting on a lotus sun and moon sit because you're only doing this in the human realm to bring human beings to maturity. Then before with Chenrezig, your mother in front becomes Manjushri, and all your relatives, friends, and lovers, and all the humans, especially on this planet, 6-7 billion, become Manjushri. Then all the spirits in the 4 realms fill space, Manjushri. This causes the mantra to appear around the D, Om Arapata Nadi Soha. And we'll do that mantra, and all beings in our mandala are Manjushri, doing exactly what we're doing. Om Arapata Nadi Soha. 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 Nadi Soha. Om Arapata 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 Nadi Soha. In the sword and Manjushri, you visualize that in your heart center, standing this way with the D. So the sword with the Vajra handle, this kind of handle on it, with with the D on the blade. And then the mantra, Arapatsa Nadi. So those syllables are marked on 6 swords laying flat, and their Vajra handles all connecting to the Vajra handle of the middle one. And they're all blazing with fire in 6 directions, going to the 6 realms of sentient being, immediately removing all obstacles of them becoming in the human condition liberated, free of all pain and suffering, all emotional conflict, all judgment, all egocentric dichotomy. And you say the mantra, Om Arapatsa Nadi, 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 Om Arapatsa Nadi. So, Then you visualize all the 6 realms of sentient being now as Manjushri, all the spirit world, all the animal world, and all the human world, wherever they take birth on planet, all of them coming into you from every direction. You as the central figure, Manjushri, disappear into the mantra, Om Arapatsa Nadi. Then you sound the D, focus on just the D. All the deities, all the mantras, all the vibrations have entered into the D in a 5-colored sphere. And it flashes 5-colored light like a supernova, pervades space everywhere, which is the true nature of the Buddha Amitabha, infinite light. Sound the D and see it from your heart center, blast through the universe of space, move through space, just space. D, 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 D. To emphasize where this takes you, follow the sound of the bell. Body. Speech. Mind. Then with the body of loving kindness as the teacher, as the Lama, Guru, and the insight into the void nature of our mind and universe in sync, in harmony, through Manjushri. The Chenrezig and the Manjushri become the power of the practice to influence and liberate countless sentient beings. And so it takes on a powerful standing form of the illusory deity that represents all the male and female protectors in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition as power. The accumulation of the insight and the actual creation of mandalas as a wrathful Vajrapani, two arms, standing, dancing on a sun and moon set with the dome of flames coming up and surrounding him like a sun, standing on a human form with a 32-petal lotus, black lotus. And the sun and moon in the sky in a black night, in a charnel ground filled with all the very best excretions of the bodies. With the sound hum. And this hum sums up the body, speech, and mind of all the lamas as the sound of infinite healing applied to infinite sentient beings. And the Hung invites all of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the past, present, and future, and all the lineages of Tibetan Buddhism, all the teachers and all of the people who accomplished these practices for the last 2,600 years into your practice with the vibration of sounding the Hung 10 times. And this becomes the self-empowerment to be this protector deity in action to overcome harmful circumstances in the mind, in the body, and in the world around you. Protection. Chenrezig, Manjushri, Vajrapani. Hum, hum, hum. Hum, 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 hum. And 3 more times to create the Dharmakaya, the Sambhogakaya, and the Nirmanakaya as the mind of the Lama. Hum, hum, hum. And the Hum appears in your heart center, surrounded by a 5-colored sphere, dark blue in color on a white background with a red energy field. And the sun disk he's standing on becomes the blazing dome of fire as your protective energy so that you can go into any situation and be okay. It applies to the 6 realms of sentient beings, heaven to hell and in between, but specifically to the human condition and all of its calamities, which we are existing in present time everywhere on this planet. And the power of this spreads through the 6 realms of these migrating sentient beings, humans, animals, spirits. Om Vajrapani, Om Pe. Om Vajrapani, Om Pe. Om Vajrapani, Om Pe. Now this mantra doesn't rotate, it's stationary, letters face outward around the Om, creating a charnel ground of infinite proportion, filling our world. With the countless corpse of infinite sentient beings as its nature. Om Vajrapani, Om Pe, 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 Om Vajrapani, Om Vajrapani, Om Pe, 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 Om Vajrapani, Pe, Pe, Vajrapani, Pe, Pe. Pe means cut, remove judgmental mind and all negative emotional programming. Pe. Om Vajrapani, Pe, Om Vajrapani, Pe, Om Vajrapani, Pe, Om Vajrapani, Pe. Om Vajrapani, Pe, Om Vajrapani, Pe. Om Vajrapani, Pe, Om Vajrapani, Pe, Om Vajrapani, Pe, Om Vajrapani, Pe, Om Vajrapani, Pe. Om Vajrapani, Pe, Om Vajrapani, Pe. Vajrapani, Pe, Om 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 Vajrapani, Pe. Then all 6 rounds transformed into the mandala of the protector Vajrapani. And all of the sentient beings disappear into you as the deity which disappears into the heart mantra Om Vajrapani Hum, disappears into the home disappears into space. Be present in space. The mind of bliss, Mahamudra. No perceiver, nothing perceives. No activity, no time. Relax. then you invent whatever deity you're using as your yidam with the guidance of your lama. Chenrezig, Tara, Medicine Buddha, Vajrapani, Manjushri, whichever one you choose. Every deity enforces the power, compassion, insight of every other deity, just like the mantra in Zisobo. Every practice enforces every other practice. And when you reappear as the yidam between sessions, then if you can project the deity to whoever you have relations with. And all sounds, speech, outer sounds of any kind, is the vibration of the mantra. And then, because of the extremely harmful energy program of the climate today, and the extremely harmful activity of humans desecrating the planet, and because of the extremely angry reaction of the spirits, we do the practice of taking and sending. So as these harmful, negative experiences or situations arise, either as an individual or a group of humans, or as the environmental energy being destructive as it is, with your breath, take that negative energy in as black light into your heart center and disappear it into voidness. Immediately, white light back, and that situation, okay. No physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual dysfunction. It's just okay. And get in the habit of doing that. And you will learn to appreciate more and more all of this disharmony that's going on. Whether you actually experience it or imagine it, or see it in the news, like on YouTube or in the paper or whatever, or hear it from the idle chatter of other humans. Immediately train your mind to inhale black light, disappear, dissolve it. The white light of your practice, the infinite light nature of the universe, hits the situation, the individual or the group. Okay. In your mind, okay. And after a while, these infinite situations will become infinitely okay. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Om Mani Breathe. Then we dedicate the merit that all sentient beings will have just as much fun and good karma as we have. Kewadi Nurdu Da, Chagya Champo Drugurne, Chova Chinking Malupa, Tani Sala Goparsho, Sanjay Kusum Nimpajam Ladam, Joni Mingur Nimpajam Ladam, Kendu Miche Dumpajam Laki, by this virtue, having realized Mahamudra, may I quickly establish every sentient being in that state without exception, by the blessing of the three bodies of the Buddha being accomplished, by the blessing of the truth of this Dharma being unchanging, and by the blessing of the wishes of the Sangha being unwavering, may this dedication prayer be fulfilled. May all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity. And may all their wishes be fulfilled. On this planet, may all beings be happy, free of suffering, established in bliss and equanimity. Aloha and Tashi Dele. Duchiche. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lama, and thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Abby.
Good night.
Night.
Night. Be well. Have good dreams.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.